Wow, welcome to another episode of Next Meridian.
Welcome!
Something different, you might notice. Cut my hair. I used to have long hair till here if you don't know us, and Mathilde shaved it all off, so it's gone.
It was super fun.
Anyways, so let's start. Gonna have our phone just to make sure we, don't forget some of our notes, but we've got a cool spot. If you can see behind us, that's the beach. We're at our first night in Costa Rica, and Albatross, our defender, is right next to us. Pretty warm, but it's nice. Anyways, let's start.
Okay, so we'll start with a little recap. We say we've been 1 year on the road. What happened during that year? Last year, April 18th, 2022, we took the road from the French Alps in France, and we drove for 3 months through Scandinavia, the northern part of Europe. So yeah, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland. That was super nice. Then we went to Germany to ship our Land Rover Defender Albatross to Canada. And when the car arrived there, we crossed the entire country of Canada, went all the way up to Alaska, and then all the way down through the Midwest in the United States. We then continued our way south through Mexico, where Nick unfortunately got a small accident that caused us to stop for 6 weeks or 7 weeks for a knee surgery. So we were paused in Mexico for almost 7 weeks before starting again beginning of 2023 in Central America. Since then, we've done Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, and we're here on our first night in Costa Rica.
And we celebrated our 1 year anniversary 2 nights ago in Nicaragua, and that's why now we're here shooting this video on our 1 year through the world in a Land Rover Defender and what we think. So, favorite places is probably what you're asking yourselves. It's a really hard question, but we broke it down to 4 places rather than countries. So the first one is actually country, Norway. Second one is Alaska. Third is Utah in the USA. And finally, Guatemala. So the first 3 locations, Norway, Alaska, Utah, is for the dramatic landscapes that they have. It's just insane. The nature and the landscape is just completely insane. And Guatemala for its volcanoes. We hiked tons of volcanoes and they were awesome. And actually throughout Central America there's tons of great ones. Now, we're in Costa Rica, it's only been 1 day, and looking at how nice these beaches are, Costa Rica might be on the list, but we still have 2 weeks or 3 weeks to visit the country and make a decision. But Costa Rica so far is doing really well. We actually are going to spend 2 nights here, that's how nice it is. Now, a second question you might ask is, how do we feel about the trip after a year?
At this point, I think our level of motivation is kind of intact. Like, the project of World Tour is still what we want to do. We're still very motivated of our daily activities and the daily routine on the road. I think the way of life and everything that we learn and discover makes us very happy, and that has not diminished in 1 year. And I think we're even more excited of what's coming in front of us. So in terms of thinking, was it the good decision? It still is in our mind. Like, we're really enjoying it and we don't see ourselves stopping. So what keeps us so motivated and so happy since 1 year?
We would say people. People are really the best things that we have been encountering during this whole trip. I mean, honestly, we got a lot of hosts. In total, we had 21 hosts who invited us over to their place, talked to us about their country, we learned so much just through them. And we even had one host who had like a whole farm. We just had met him randomly on the road, and he had a whole farm, a cattle ranch, and we ended up spending a whole 2 days with him, helping him out with his cows, and then learning all from his job and how he manages the whole ranch. And so that's really interesting. And we've met a lot of travelers as well. So we've we can't count how many we've met, but we've met so many, and it's so cool to meet so many other travelers from all over the world in so many different types of vehicles or modified in different ways. And that is really interesting. And for sure we made tons of new friends along the way, which to us we will remember forever. Now, learning about the countries themselves, well, there's so much good food all around the world, and we love food. So now that we're in Central America, we've been having tons of good and honestly inexpensive food, and there's still so many more along the road that we're gonna be testing. Another part is, which is really interesting, is when you arrive to countries that you've never set foot to before, you don't really know how the security is or what the actual situation of the country is. And so far nothing has ever happened to us, and everything has gone really well. So knock on wood, we don't have wood, but I'll go knock on it later. The thing is, listening to the travelers who are actually traveling through the countries we're going to be going through, or locals, because we learn such a different version of the country than we do on the media. And that's something we have really enjoyed doing, is just going to a new country and getting our own opinion. And that has been a lot of fun, because so many times we come out of the country saying that country was awesome and we did not feel any worry at all. It's really interesting. And then the languages, we do speak Spanish, and we've been speaking Spanish since about 5 months now, and we still will have to speak Spanish for the next 6 months until we finish the Americas or more, and that's a lot of fun too. So far we've always been able to get ourselves understood. It might happen at some point where we're going to be completely confused and lost, and we'll be like, uh-oh, we'll have to take out Google Translate, but so far everything has been good. And that's interesting too, is being able to communicate with all the different locals and try to understand each other. And Spanish is fun, we actually enjoy it.
And I think overall, after this year of travel, we also realized that we would have never had the opportunity of seeing so many countries, maybe in our lifetime. And so it was awesome to be able to see some countries we would probably never have been to, like El Salvador. We were thinking about it, we probably would have never flown to El Salvador. So it's such a luck for us.
Yeah, super cool. And also just thinking about a whole year on the road, like what have we done in a year? We feel like, wow, that's cool. We've traveled through 18 countries and everything has gone well, and we've learned a lot, and we've met a lot of people, and we've had a lot of fun. Okay, I'm just gonna do a little cut here and give interesting facts from one of our Instagram posts for the 1 year celebration. So we've been through 18 countries, 2 continents. We've done 1 shipment from Europe to Northern America. We've driven 54,000 kilometers. We've spent almost 10,000 euros of diesel, which is by far our highest expense. 4 serious maintenances, once in Canada, 2 in the US, and 1 in Tijuana. We only had 1 flat tire. Wow, that's pretty cool. Only 1 flat tire, and it was in Canada on a parking lot because there was a little nail on the floor which pierced through the tire. Can you imagine? Rest of the time, nothing. Out of the 365 nights, we've spent 267 in Albatross, our Defender, 63 nights in a hotel. Most of those nights are because of the knee surgery, where we got an Airbnb because I could not walk, and about 21 nights sleeping at hosts or people that had invited us over to their place. So we've actually spent a lot of nights in Albatross, and that's how we want to keep it. We've only paid for 3 campings. The rest of the time was always wild. We've met millions of travelers, we can't tell how many. We've done 59 YouTube episodes, 19 publications around the world. We've got 12 partnerships. Thank you guys, this is awesome. Thank you to partners, we love all of you, and they're actually all great products. So if you want anything, go check out the partners. We've gone through 12 SIM cards together, and as I said earlier, zero security problems. And now, what are some of the things that bored us or annoy us during the trip?
There's really not much. We had to scratch our head to kind of find an answer for that, but there is always something. And I think it's something we learned after 1 year of moving so much is we were trying to see everything and drive everywhere, and somehow we also had some weeks where we got really tired of driving that much. Maybe to arrive to places that were nice, but not that nice or not that rewarding for the kind of detour it was. So it's being tired, it's a lot of kilometers on the car, it's a lot of hours driving for, you know, not much in the end. So I think we also decided to be a bit more selective where we go and maybe spend more time in those places than trying to see everything. We acknowledge we cannot see everything and that we want to keep moving. So that's one important thing. And then the second thing is those 7 weeks that we had to stop for the surgery, I think also kind of build up also our wish to be constantly moving. You know, we really miss the fact of moving every day and seeing new countries every day. So that's also something that we want to kind of push, is this year we want to keep moving, keep being in motion, keep discovering, and avoid stopping too long in places, because that's also like what keeps us very motivated in this project. And then there's the few things we miss. Nicolas got the chance to see his family for Christmas and New Year, so that was super nice. I have to say that I didn't have this luck just yet, so after a year of travel I kind of start missing a bit my family, especially my brother, sister and parents. But it's okay, like I know we will see them sooner rather than later. And then maybe another thing is, the further we go, the harder it is to find the food we are used to and that we like a lot from home. Already in Canada and the US it was hard to find like the cheese we love and like the bread we love, but it's getting even harder now that we're in Central America. So yeah, sometimes, you know, paying €5 for like a small pot of pesto, yeah, it feels a bit too expensive, but yeah. So I guess we miss a bit like the food from home.
And what we don't miss on this trip is, honestly, for now, having a fixed place. Moving in the car and having this type of view is awesome. Sometimes we do miss having a fixed place and being able to just press buttons or turn a knob and have, you know, everything functional. In a car it's a bit more manual, but we're happy to not be stuck in one place. And secondly is, even though we are working on these YouTube videos and I hope you're enjoying them as much as we do, we also don't miss being in an office sitting behind a computer. We love everything that's happening here and being flexible and being our own bosses. That for sure we don't miss the conventional sit at the office job. And jumping onto security, we've actually had literally zero problems since we left, and it's amazing. We've only had 1 rope in Mexico and 4 ropes in Guatemala. What do I mean by ropes? Local people who pick up a rope and they stand on each side of the road and they just set up a rope, and when you get there they say, well, to pass you need to pay, because that's how it is. And you say, you know, that's a bit annoying. So as a tourist you don't really know how to react. So that's the only thing we've had, and it's always ended up really well. It's explained it in our previous YouTube videos, so Mexico and Guatemala. But apart from that, 0 problems.
So now let's talk about what fuels this entire project. Not the most entertaining, but the most practical: finance. As we mentioned in previous videos, we left entirely on savings from work. And how are we with our budget? After 1 year, we are above the average yearly budget we had put to ourselves, but that is normal. We're not too concerned about that because we started also with the most expensive countries of this world tour. I mean, Northern Europe, Scandinavia is extremely expensive, and Northern America. The only expensive countries that are upcoming is Costa Rica, where we are, and Australia, that is going to be for next year. But this year we spent most of the year in expensive countries, so it's normal that it was above our average. So we're trustful that the rest of the year, the upcoming year, is going to be much cheaper in South America especially.
And now we're gonna move to what are we looking forward to for next year.
So what's going to happen? Now the next big milestone is going to ship to a new continent, technically, which is South America. So after Costa Rica, we're going to Panama, and we're going to put our Defender Albatros in a container to go to South America. We're very excited about that because it's going to be a super interesting process, but also, yeah, a new continent to explore, which is super cool. And then the timeline for us is to be done with South America by the end of 2023 and having this car again in another container for Australia by beginning of 2024, January 2024. And then Australia is a whole new business, a whole new part of the world opening to us. So looking forward, really those big milestones, and as we said, we're still as motivated as before.
We can't wait. And Australia, if you don't know, apparently we have to clean the car with a toothbrush. So that is going to be an interesting one for the end of the year.
There's one other thing we're looking forward. Continue the YouTube episodes and hopefully you will like them as much as we like doing them. And thank you so much for watching the videos because it's the simplest and most efficient way of supporting our expedition.
But right now we're gonna go enjoy the beach and have a good swim. Thanks guys!
Thank you so much!
One thing I must say about having short hair, which is the after 1 year travel, boom, it is dry. I'm good to go.